Oh, so there you go. So we are here. I didn't see that fade me in then. It just went straight through. It should have given me a transition. So it faded me in, but it didn't. It's nice to see you guys. I'm just checking down here. My laptop's down here. I'm just checking this is going out on Facebook properly. It looks like it has. It's gone straight through, so that's all good. What's Fanny saying? This couldn't be more applicable Periscope this evening for her. So yeah, guys, tonight what we are talking about, and I've got to stop saying guys. I hate it when people say guys. Come on, guys. We're going to be talking tonight quite in depth about what happens really when you get to the middle of the year, like it is right now, and the goals that you set at the start of this year or late last year suddenly have gone to pot, and people are like, right, okay, they seemed good at the time, but now I'm struggling and I don't know if I can actually achieve the things that I set out to at the start. So I'm going to go over 3 things tonight that you can do in order to make things a little bit easier for you and hopefully get yourself back on track. Dawn says she says guys all the time, and so does Fanny. Carrie May's here as well. It's just one of them things, isn't it? But yeah, hopefully I'll get myself out of that habit, because I don't know. It's kind of like, it's not guys. It's not a term just for men, is it? But I think sometimes when I say guys and there's women, I'm like, there's women here as well. Just let me know if the scope and the Facebook Live is coming through all right for you in terms of connection, because I'm seeing a little bit of lag here on my phone. But let me know if the connection's all right for you, and then we'll begin. I've got some slides for you tonight. Got lots of stuff to share with you, and hopefully it's all going to be good. We're going to get some people back on track by the end of this. Emily says she's just accidentally deleted a last comment, but the connection is perfect. Well, that's good. Excellent. I'm glad it's perfect. And for those if it's not perfect, I'm recording it as well, so you're going to get we're going to get a flawless recording. Jen's having a bit of issue. Yeah, my Periscope servers can be dodgy sometimes. Facebook seem a little bit more stable, but Periscopes can be a little bit dodgy. Lucinda says the picture's a little bit jumpy for her, and there's a bit of lag on for Fanny as well. Dodgy, innit? Periscope, sort your servers out. Because I'm not even broadcasting directly to Periscope. I'm going through a different server that should be even faster than if I was going direct. So yeah, for me, I'm jumping a little bit there. I can see myself jumping. For those on the audio experience, I apologise for this, because people will be listening to this as a podcast as well, and you're not going to have a clue what's going on. But people say they can hear me perfectly, so that's all that matters. So let's begin, guys. I'm going to throw up. Say guys again. I'm not going to throw up. I'm going to put up. I just showed you the slide that you weren't supposed to see. Wait a minute. I'm changing back for a second. There you go. So I can change these slides around without you. You just saw a great slide of somebody being punched in the face. But there's method behind that madness. Don't worry about that. Right, now we're good. Let's have a look. Do you know why those transitions weren't working properly? Because I changed it to cut and not to fade. Now watch this fade in nicely. Here's your PDF. Faded in quite nicely, I hope. That's not a flattering picture of me where it's just frozen on my Periscope. Periscope is being a bit dodgy tonight, isn't it? Miss Chips is here as well. Karen's here. Thanks for being here, Karen. So tonight, guys, the title of this scope is Getting Back on Track When Your Goals Have Gone to Shit. Okay, give me some hearts if you've had some goals already this year go a little bit to shit. I definitely have. Not the big ones, thankfully, but without a doubt, some of the smaller goals that I'd set have definitely, a couple have fallen by the wayside, unfortunately, which is a bit of a shame. But there's what we're going to be talking about tonight is going to help you get back on track. Fanny says yes, for sure. Rachel is here as well. Good evening, Rach. So, yeah, I'm in that boat as well. There's definitely a couple of things that I fell behind on. Do you know what? Probably like back in March. Fanny says she's well behind on them. There's some goals that I've kept up with and some that I've surpassed and I've completed sooner than I thought. But there's definitely some that have gone by the wayside, and stuff's gone to shit. Before we dive into these 3 points for how we can get back on track, would massively appreciate you sharing this, guys, if you wouldn't mind hitting the 3 buttons if you're on Periscope in the bottom right-hand corner, sharing it out on Facebook, sharing it out on Twitter. If you're watching the Facebook Live, would massively appreciate you just clicking the share link, whack this on your timeline, anything like that. Charlotte's here as well on Facebook Live. Ethan is here. Ethan's gone blonde. Been seeing your Instagram pictures, Ethan. I think it suits you, mate. I think it's all right. Definitely. I've not gone blonde myself, ever. I did some highlights back in the day when it was cool in like the early 2000s. Didn't suit me at all, Ethan, but it suited him. So yeah, thank you for sharing. Appreciate you sharing that. I can see Anna Ray has just shared it as well. So let's move into the actual presentation for tonight. I'm going to give credit to an article I read today by a mentor of mine. I know a lot of people on here know him, a guy called Michael Hyatt, and you might have done his 5 days to your best year ever program, which is a goal-setting program that I got everybody to do at the end of last year. I've taken quite a lot of the teaching tonight from some of Michael's material, so I'm going to hold my hands up and say I can't take full credit for all of this. This is some of Michael's perspective as well, but it's really, really valuable, and you should definitely check out Michael Hyatt, great guy. But he says, listen, success stories have a beginning, a middle, and a payoff, okay? And we often focus on the difference between the start and the success, but I'll let you in on a secret. The struggle between the two is what's important. I agree with that so much. It's often not really the goal that's the important thing in the process. It's the process itself. You often learn so much more when you're actually tackling your goals than you do kind of by achieving it. It's like, you know, the obstacles that are thrown up against you far often lead to bigger breakthroughs than the actual thing you're trying to achieve. Who would agree with that? Give me some yeses if you agree with that. Often the process is sometimes more satisfying than the end result. You know, I think if you're a football manager and you won the Premiership trophy, yeah, that's an amazing result. But I bet you had loads more fun during those, 25 games that you played, that some of them went to the whistle, went to penalties, edgy your seat kind of moments. Rach is saying, yeah, definitely. I completely agree with that. I do think the thing we should focus on as well a lot of the time is not the end goal. It's absolutely the part, the process and the struggle sometimes. So there's going to be a lot of people on here. Fanny says she's not sure. She wants the end result more. But I don't know. I don't know if you really do, Fanny. I don't know if you do. It depends on what you're going for. But a lot of people here right now will not be anywhere near that end result is the point, okay? And you've got to enjoy the place where you are at now. And we're going to look at how we can refocus ourselves to that place tonight. So it talks about writing your own story. It says, as you work to win at any endeavour that truly matters to you, there's going to come a point when you're tempted to quit. And I know there's going to be a lot of people on here right now. There'll be something in your life right now where you're tempted to quit. Where you're tempted to give up, throw in the towel. And Donald Miller is an author of a book called Million Miles in 1,000 Years, would say this is the part of your great story arc. So loads of people on here are actors, yeah? Some of the best stories that you will get to act in, the best part of that play or the best part of that film is the middle bit where actually everything's going on. And it's a story arc. It's the middle of the story where we get the most interesting material from. And it's the same in life. The dramatic outline that nearly every compelling tale includes yours as well, and mine. All of our lives are stories, effectively, and we're writing our own story every single day. A lot of people don't realise that. They think someone else is writing their story for them, and that's bullshit. You get to pick up the pen every day, and you get to write the next page that leads to the next chapter. But a lot of people like to give their power away, particularly right now in the UK, to elections and to a load of shit that's going on here. And they feel that they are powerless, and they just basically are just being, swept away with the tide. Tonight we're going to look at how you can begin swimming in the direction you want to be heading in. So ultimately, yeah, every great story has this bit in the middle, which is kind of messy, okay? You might start off strong with a destination in sight, and you make some progress. Everything seems easy, okay? And sometimes some of my goals have seemed easy. I set myself a goal at the start of the year, guys. It was so easy. All it was to go to the cinema once a month with my mates, because as an actor, I wanted to see more films. And I was like, I've never really been to the cinema often recently. I'd go like once every 6 months. And I went, all I'm going to do is set a goal that seems so simple. And I started off the year dead easy. January, February, March was absolutely fine. I'm like, well, I've got this one under control. And, it says there, progress seems easy, and you're a little surprised, but soon become confident and even cocky. And you're like, this isn't so hard. I've got this nailed, you think, until this happens. And who's had this happen to them at all this year? Those on the audio experience, I'm putting up a slide now of a man being punched in the face, and it says life punches us in the face. Who was it who said, wasn't Muhammad Ali, was it? It was, or Lennox Lewis. Mike Tyson. It was, yeah, Mike Tyson said, life's easy until you get punched in the face. And I think that's just very, very true. I've had it for real, let alone life. What, you've actually been punched in the face, Fanny? That's not good. We don't condone violence on these broadcasts. I hope, in a way, you hit them back. Looks like a great boxing match, that. Who's fighting? I don't know, Steve, who these people are, but you can see he's been punched in the face pretty hard there. Everything until that point in the game, in the boxing match, was probably going all right, and then bang, he's like completely knocked for six. And this is just what happens when we're going for our goals. So come April, May, June, I've been so busy. And you know what? Maybe that is a bit of an excuse as well, but I haven't had time to go to the cinema for one of my goals. I know it sounds like such a shitty, meaningless little goal, but it's something I really wanted to do this year. And still, I've been knocked off track of something very, very, very simple. That's the Lispy guy, isn't it? Eubank. No, I don't think that's Chris Eubank. It looks a bit like him, but he looks younger. Unless that was Chris Eubank back in the day. Obviously, he's a bit older now, but he does look a little bit like Eubank. I don't know if it is, though, Fanny, to be honest. So, yeah, who's been punched in the face this year? Type yes. For those in the audio experience, that's what it says on the slide. And if you want to watch the replay on the audio experience, you want to see the video to this as well and the presentation, go to atsonthis.tv and you'll find it on in the Periscope section there. So yeah, who's and being punched in the face doesn't mean you're completely derailed, as in terms of like you've had a massive blow, but just stuff has got in the way, life's got in the way, a situation's occurred, something's happened where you've had to change plan. It doesn't have to be like a big event. It's just, you've took a bit of a dig and you're like, okay, that money that I was going to spend on that, I've had to spend on this because my car's broke down, or the boiler's gone, or I've got to move house, or this has happened, or my relationship's gone a bit pear-shaped. Karen says, yeah. It just happens to everybody. It's completely part and parcel of trying to attain anything good in your life. So, carrying back on, it says, discouragement, anger, sadness, and this is what a punch in the face can do to you. It can discourage you. It can make you angry a bit. Several times, says Girly Whirly. Bloody hell. And Jen's putting her hand up as well. It can make you sad. It can make you angry. They're all emotions that you might experience when faced with an obstacle, when you get punched in the face. And these emotions could dissuade you from attempting to overcome that obstacle, says psychiatrist Karen Hall, who wrote a recent article in Psychology Today. And she says that the dilemma is that you've come too far to go back, but you aren't sure you have enough resources to finish what you started. Do you quit or do you push forward? And there's definitely been goals in my life in the past where that's happened, whether that's been finances, like I say, and suddenly you go, all that money I'd saved for doing that and buying that equipment, now I've got to spend it on this. And it's like, God, I've come so far though. Do I go back, or can I raise the funds a different way? And there'll be people probably listening to this or watching this right now who are in that situation. Maybe you're crowdfunding for a film. Maybe you're halfway through a script. You don't know if you've hit a block in your storyline, and you're like, shit, I don't know if I've got it in me to keep going and finish this story. Same for show reels. You might be editing a show reel. You might be editing your voice reel. You're not happy with it. You've hit a bit of a block. Life's punched you in the face a bit. You've lost interest. You're discouraged. You're angry. You're a bit sad. And you're like, do I actually have it in me to carry on? And absolutely, as everyone's saying, you have to. I'm pushing forward, but in a different way, says Jen. Yeah, sometimes you've got to reassess your goals as well, guys, and that is absolutely fine. We're going to look at that in a minute. So Michael Hyatt has sent me, yesterday or the day before, a 3-point checkup for success. So when you're in the messy middle of your goals and you're like, right, I'm at this point where I've come so far, I'm proud of where I've come, and I'd be really sad if I gave up, but I actually still don't know if I've got it in me to push forward. These are 3 very simple things you can do to just assess yourself quite quickly as to whether, or not you... Well, these aren't whether or not you're going to move forward. You do these 3 things, you're going to move forward. But these are 3 things that you should all do, and I'm going to do over the next few days in order to get back on track with a few of those goals. It's not just that cinema goal. There's a couple of others that have fallen by the wayside as well. But like I say, luckily, my big 3 are on track. But there are a few that are peeing me off a little bit because I'm like, you've got to find time for these. Definitely. So, number 1, he says, this is the first checkup point. Am I taking care of myself? This is so important because at the middle of the year like now, you hit the start of the year so hard, you've kind of drained yourself now, and you're at this point where you're like, I'm at a lull. Maybe you've made yourself a bit ill, you're run down, and you're not taking care of yourself. And it's something we can take for granted, our health. And you're just like, this isn't, people don't even look at their health as a goal. And it's actually like probably the biggest goal you've got, but it's one that hardly anybody writes down. One of my goals this year was to become the strongest I've ever, sounds a bit like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but in the gym, become the strongest I've ever been by the 1st of June. I've just missed out on it. That would have meant I had to lift 120 kilograms on a bench press, which would be 50 kilogram weights either side and 20 kilograms for the bar on a 1 repetition of my maximum bench press. And I couldn't quite take it up to 50 each side. I did 47 and a half on the 1st of June. I couldn't do the 50. I got half a rep out. So it's pretty close. But that was for my health, really. That was, in terms of I want to be strong. Lifting weights isn't just about having big muscles. It's also about looking after lots of different areas of your body. Helps with things like osteoporosis, strong bones, all kinds of things. And ultimately, if I'm strong, I'm going to be in a better position to, tackle my goals. And Michael says, look, without sufficient rest, nutrition, and exercise, my attitude will sour and I will have fewer resources for managing the challenges. In fact, sometimes a good night's rest can move mountains. Actually, it's one of my main priorities, says Jen. I'm no good if I'm not taking care of myself. It should be everybody's main priority in my eyes. Like, genuinely, it doesn't mean you've got to go to the gym every single day. Doesn't mean, you can't treat yourself now and again. But I just think that people need to appreciate, and I want everyone to appreciate on it, no matter how kind of cheesy this sounds, your body, in terms of what you want to achieve in life, you can't do anything without it, guys, right? You can't just leave that behind and go, oh, well, I'll take care of that in 6 months. I'm concentrating on my acting career right now, or I'm concentrating on this right now. I'll deal with that later. Your body's the greatest gift that you will ever have. It's the only thing in the world you will ever truly own. And the fact that I always tell people that blows them away and blew me away the first time I heard it, and it's something we all forget, but your DNA, people, like, never ever existed in the world before you were here. And when you die, it will never ever 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 exist again. It's so incredibly unique. It's absolutely amazing. And yet so many people just don't seem to care about it. They're like, you know what, I'll go out, I'll get pissed, I'll smoke, I'll do drugs, I'll do this, I won't look after myself, I'll eat shit, I won't work out. And then they wonder why they feel like shit and they're lethargic and they're not able to actually commit to their goals and actually their vision for a better life for themselves. Because you will only get out of your body what you put into it. And I don't think a lot of people realize how good their bodies are actually designed to feel. When I think back to my early 20s when I was working in that shithole in retail in the Trafford Centre, hating my life before I actually kind of began to understand success properly. I used to, I would be hungover quite a lot, to be blunt with you. And some days, I'd think, oh, I don't feel too bad. Just because I wasn't hungover, not knowing like how I feel now. I mean, I don't drink at all now. And I really focus on what I put in my body and what I fuel myself with. And I'm not ridiculous. I absolutely treat myself and let myself have some nice things. But I had no idea back in the day how good my body was designed to feel when I was fueling it with the correct stuff. A good day for me back then, I would probably be feeling a bit, under the weather today in terms of how I actually feel on a daily basis now. Presently, my body makes me feel quite sad, to be honest. Well, there you go, Fanny. That's a breakthrough. Boom. Realization. It's something you must focus on. That's not a bad thing that you've just realized there. That's like just, a compass going, okay, Fanny, if it makes you feel like that, then that's something that you need to just focus on a little bit. And I know you were focusing on that because I saw all your Instagram stories a couple of months ago where you were in the gym a lot and you were doing that 12-week training thing. Maybe you just get back on something like that. Maybe not as harsh, not as time-consuming, so you can still balance other stuff. But maybe for you, that's something that you focus on. And everyone on here, maybe that's something you focus on. I know Rach, if she's still on here, has set herself a goal to run a first marathon at the end of this year. Stuff like that. When I did that in 2010, and since then I've run quite a few since. That's a great goal that's kind of like not too taxing because you can do it over 16 weeks. And you up the training very gradually. But when you complete a marathon for the first time, guys, seriously, you're just like, it will blow you away, the feeling that you get. Ray says, yep, sure am. There's some great home workouts designed for people without time to go to the gym. Exactly, Bobby. You've been doing some great workshops as well, Fanny says, Julia, definitely. Ray says, not too taxing. You're kidding. It's not you know what? Running isn't too taxing if you're consistent. All you've got to do is be consistent. If you're going out for a run every 10 days, it's not consistent enough. If you do 3 runs a week, you can up your training very gradually. You don't feel it nearly as badly as you would if you're just going, oh, God, I've not done my training run this week and I've not done one last week. Oh, shit, I'll have to go out and do 12 miles, every 2 weeks. Where are you going to get that from? You've got to build up to that. Big respect. I'm doing another half in the autumn. Keeps me orientated, says Jen. It's really good. Seriously, it's like running for me is a big part of my life now. I only run on a Sunday now, but it absolutely keeps me focused. Helps with brain fog. Just really helps me gain clarity. And I do focus on rest and do focus on nutrition. One area on the screen right now I could focus on a little bit more is maybe rest, but I certainly don't overdo it. I don't think I always get at least 7 hours sleep a night, and for me that's all right for now. So that's point number 1. Am I taking care of myself? Just give me some yeses if you think you are. Genuinely, let's be honest with each other. Do you think you're taking care of yourself right now? If you're not, it's fine because you can do something about it, but you must do something about it. Don't go on for ages and ages and ages and not do anything about it. I'm walking on hot coals later this year. Is that a goal? Well, absolutely done. Is that an unleash the power within or what? That must be. You're doing the fire walking with Mr. Tony Robbins or what? Definitely. Ray says, yeah, I make myself a priority. Well, that's good. Really good. Absolutely not, says Fanny. Well, that's something we've got to work on. Not at all, but doing my best. Could your best be better, Steve? Is doing your best procrastination and letting yourself off a bit? I'm getting there, says Bobby. Need to eliminate more junk from my diet. Let's focus on that then. Definitely, it will not have been wasted, Fanny. Keep going when you're ready. Yeah, absolutely. And to not get overwhelmed, guys, don't do everything at once. Tony Blake is here on Facebook. Tony Blake, probably the most talented photographer I've ever met in my life. Tony's on Facebook Live. Tony, good to see you here, mate. It says burning out moves you backwards. It definitely does. And one guy who works bloody hard and never gets a minute's rest is Tony Blake, because he's always doing shoots for the BBC and fashion things and actors and all kinds of stuff. Big shout out to you, mate. Thanks for watching. But yeah, so we don't want to burn ourselves out. We want to rest. We want to focus on nutrition, focus on exercise, and ultimately just be the best versions of ourselves that we can be. But you don't get there by doing everything at once. Just focus on one of those things for now, perhaps your nutrition, your exercise, and your rest. If you focus on all 3 at once, you're going to get overwhelmed and probably just burn out, like Tony says, because you're going to be trying to change your diet, change your exercise, and your nighttime routine all at once. It's going to drive you crazy. Johnny's here. He's just joined on Periscope. Good evening, Johnny. So let's look at point number 2, okay? Am I asking the right questions? This is so important as well. He's a good guy, Michael Hyatt. He knows his stuff. But he says questions are very powerful tools for improvement, okay? But beware. Okay, because that persistent doubts often masquerade as questions, which can leave one disempowered and depleted. He says, I make it a point to regularly ask constructive questions like these, and I'm going to show you what those questions are. But beforehand, I just want to reiterate that point on the screen there, okay? Persistent doubts will masquerade themselves as questions, and you will often have one main question in your life, okay? And it will probably filter into every situation you are in. And a lot of people's main question in their lives is a really disempowering one. And they are probably things like, they begin with, when will I? And there'll be things like, when will I ever get a job? When will I ever look like that? When will I ever lose weight? When will I ever be successful? All of these really disempowering questions, okay? And people have this running through just as a theme in their life. So you've got to kind of really be careful of the language you're using on a daily basis. Anyone who's done the Bulletproof Actor program that I run, it's opening again in just about 11 days' time. We focus a lot on language, both internally and externally. And your internal dialogue with yourself is way more important than the external a lot of the time. So I make people realign that question from a disempowering one, like when will I ever be successful, into an empowering question. And they can be things like, how can I make a bigger impact on this world? What could I do today to make somebody smile? How could what's the one thing today that I could do that would make everything else easier in my life or unnecessary? And they're empowering questions as opposed to questions that rob you of power. So another example of this, Michael's got some examples that we're going to look at here. He says, look, the situation that I'm in right now, what does this situation make possible? Great question, and I've not put a question mark on the end of it. Apologies for that. For those who are listening on the audio experience, don't worry, you won't see that. The next question, what do I like about this relationship or this project or this job? Because you might be like, oh, I hate this right now. But there'll always be something in that situation that you like, and you get more of what you focus on. So if you can focus on the positives, you're going to see more of those things. Okay, so what do I like about the relationship, the project, or the job that I am now in? How does this challenge provide a way for my leadership or character to grow? Dawn says, you must do the Bulletproof Actor course, guys. It's awesome. Thank you, Dawn. Massively appreciate that. People will get an opportunity to do the Bulletproof Actor course very soon. Go to bulletproofactor.com if you want to pre-register. But yeah, how does this challenge provide a way for my leadership or character to grow? Or it might be, in our case, how does this challenge provide a way for me to grow as an actor, for me to grow as a human being, for me to grow as a partner, a husband, a wife, a daughter, a son? How can we grow through the adversity that we're facing and this messy middle that we're looking at within our goal setting? And the last question he's got there is, what is really at stake here? And why do I need to finish again? That's really reconnecting with your why you started in the first place. And I say this a lot, but a lot of people, they allow the fear of this failure or the fear of not completing their goal or the task ahead and the obstacles, they make those things way louder than their initial reason for actually embarking on that goal. And if you just reconnect with that why, that's really going to motivate you from an internal place. External motivation is great. Listening to this Periscope, watching a motivational video on YouTube, etc., etc. It's going to pump you up for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, maybe half a day. But then if you're not careful, you're not conscious, and you're not focusing, you're going to deplete. That motivation is going to deplete. We want to look at how we can create internal motivation. And one of the ways to create internal motivation, which is only self-reliant, it just relies on you, nothing else, no external stimulus, is connecting with your why you are doing this thing. And you want to make that way louder than the fears and the insecurities. Okay, so you don't want to be thinking, oh, well, what if someone doesn't like my film and they're gonna, I'm gonna be trolled online, or what if someone doesn't like my show reel, or what if I screw this audition up? Why don't you focus on what could happen if it all goes right, and actually have the fear of missing out on that make that greater than the fear of failing, because that will always push you through. You should write that down. Actually, you've got to make the fear of missing out on what you could gain greater than the fear of what you could lose, or what's at stake. Lose your way when you lose your why. Definitely, Fanny. Absolutely. It's really, really true. So you've got to ask yourself these empowering questions. Anyone got any other examples of a question they could ask themselves right now? I've got one you could ask yourself. If you're in a bit of a dire situation right now, and you're like, actually, you know what? All of my goals have gone to shit. Okay, I really hope that isn't the case. But if you have, don't worry about it, right? We've got 6 months left of the year to deal with this. Ask yourself this question right now. Say, listen, what is there, what positive is there in this situation that I currently cannot see? What advantage is there in this situation that I am currently not seeing? And really delve deep into that to figure out, sometimes you might be a little bit blinded by the negative. Actually really go deep and have a look for what you could be missing. When am I going to get up and make a bacon pie? It's a very positive, empowering question, that, Steve. But I don't know, mate. When are you? Maybe after this Periscope, not before. Stay watching. So that's point number 2. We've only got point number 3 to look at now. So point number 2, you've got to ask yourself those empowering questions. Point number 3, Michael says, is listen, and this is great as well. Who can give me perspective on this? Sometimes, we get so caught up in our own little worlds that we do lose all kind of perspective on actually, the goal, the task in hand, again, what we could achieve if we complete it, what's at stake if we don't complete it. And Michael's like, look, usually he says his wife, Gail, helps to nudge him in the right direction. He's quite a religious guy, Michael. So he sometimes asks his pastor, a trusted friend, a life coach, or even a therapist. Therapy's kind of big in America. I think over in the UK, we give it a bit of a stigma attached to it because we're like, what, therapy? I think everybody should kind of like talk. Therapy is just talking to people about the obstacles in your life, effectively. So I think that's, really, really valuable. The bottom line is that he says, I need people who aren't as neck deep in the project as I am to help me step back and see the whole forest. Sometimes people are just looking at a couple of trees in front of them, and they need to zoom out and get a bird's eye view. Fanny says you know one if you don't do therapy in the US. I bet everybody. Rachel, you've been out to America quite a while. Everybody doing therapy or what? I think we should. I'm going to make it big in this country. I'm telling you, it's just literally just about talking about shit that's going on in your life. I think it's great as a soundboard to actually get in. Actually getting those thoughts out of your head and onto paper with clarity. Melinda is here. Good evening, Mel. Don't know if you've been on for a while, but great to see you. So we need to look for people who can give us perspective ultimately. And he says the older that I get, the more I see the need to stay in the story. You've just got to stay in the story. Dawn says I missed all my goals last year, but Bulletproof Actor. Something good about Bulletproof Actor, Dawn. Appreciate the comment. I missed it. I'm actually trained as a counsellor, says Fanny. Oh, there you go. He says it's always tempting to throw in the towel when things get tough. But when you do that, you miss the most valuable part of your story. And that's the middle. And that's the part, Stefan, good evening. That's the part that we're all in right now. It's only June. We've got till December to finish the story that is 2017. And we've got to make it a good one. So if you're like down on your luck right now and you're like, you know what, nothing's really gone to plan for me in this first 6 months, we can turn this all around by just using these 3 points that Michael has given us tonight. So that's the third one. Get perspective. It's a great excuse to just go for a brew with a few different people as well and just get out away from the grind for a little bit, even just for half a day. And then you can, get some opinions from people objectively. And the best people to do this with, I think, aren't your best friends, because they don't want to give you the real answer. Sometimes like, oh no, it's fine, you're doing just great. Whereas sometimes you need somebody like a mentor, or someone else who's not that close to you to go, wait a minute, all I'm hearing from you is just excuses. So we need to actually look at, how we can start implementing some positive action right now. And sometimes I can be quite harsh. But if maybe we should do at the next Act on This meetup in Manchester, we should do some kind of goal checking thing, because I swear I will suffocate the shit out of your excuses. One person who will not accept excuses is me, because there's just no excuse for an excuse, effectively. So if you go and you are actually looking for someone to get perspective on something with you, try not to make it your best friend or your mum. Try and get it to be someone who can hold you accountable. Anyone in here got an accountability partner? I think that's a really, really great thing to do. If you want one, shout up in the Acts on This Facebook group. See if you can hook up with somebody to be accountable for each other. Have you changed any of your goals this year from the initial ones? Yeah, absolutely, Fanny, definitely. So I dropped one because I've just not had time to do it. So one of my goals that I really wanted to do at the start of this year was to create a mastermind group from all of the alumni from my Bulletproof Actor program. And I wanted everybody who'd been through it, because when you go through this program, it's a 5-week super in-depth online training, and it's like 4 hours of video you do yourself with workbooks, and then we do online coaching on a weekly basis where we all get online, a group conference call, and it really transforms people. So Dawn's been on it, who's on here right now. Rachel's been through it. Quite a few people who are on here have been through it, and it is quite transformational. And it gets people all kind of on the same page of how they look at life and their outlook. And I really wanted to get people who'd been through that, so they understood themselves a bit better, into a mastermind group, and we would meet once a month online. It's amazing, says Rach. Thanks, Rach. And I really wanted to do that, and my goal for that was to do that by March the 1st. I've been so, and it's really good reasons. I've been so busy with voiceover that it's just not been possible for me to plan that and deliver the value I wanted to give on that, because I don't want to do things half-arsed. If people are actually, dedicating their time, to a mastermind group like that, I don't want to just give them something that's all right. I want to give them something that's going to blow them away. So for me, it's just not been a reality of mine. So I've either had to knock that back. Right now, I've basically taken it off the list. I don't know if I'm going to end up doing it by the end of the year, or if my kind of route into that is going to change a little bit. But that's something that, I've had to move the goalposts on, and that's fine when you're setting goals. It doesn't mean you're writing them off. It just means you're focusing on the ones that, are the most important to you. And for me, the third intake of Bulletproof Actor was more important, and I've been working my backside off on that. I can give you guys a little sneak peek of that tonight, and that's going to be happening in around about 11 days' time. So that's been more important for me. But yeah, it's fine to move your goals now and again. You don't have to berate yourself or anything like that if you need to. Before we move on and we start kind of summarising, I'm just going to jump onto Facebook and just have a look at some of these comments. I feel like I neglected you guys a little bit on Facebook. Apologies for that. I'm just going to mute myself on here before we do. I'll press play on this video. I think I have to play the video on Facebook in order to see the comments. I'm just going to see what's going on. Let's have a look. What's been happening on Facebook? Emmeline says she's had a few huge blows this year. About 5 all came last month. Bloody hell. Well, this is a great scope for you then, Emmeline, to get back on track on that. Lindsay also has had a couple of setbacks. Charlotte says yes as well. Johnny says no. Well done, Johnny. He's right on it, which is good. So most people on Facebook are doing well, killing it. David George had a couple, but he says he's got to keep on going. You definitely do, and this is exactly what we're all here for tonight, to find out how we keep going. So if you don't keep going, the thing you're missing out on is the messy middle of the story, and it's probably the most valuable part of your story, because it's the part where you learn the most about yourself, and you always come out stronger. I promise you, advantage always spawns adversity. So some things I want you to do this week, all right? I want you to review your goals thoroughly. Now, those who are into goal setting probably actually do a little 5-minute goal review every single day, but what you should do at least once every quarter is a real thorough review. And the thorough reviews are the reviews where you do change the goalposts if necessary. You sideline some of your goals to focus on the more important ones. And ultimately, you look for what's going to be the most valuable for you right now in your life to get you to where you want to go. Julia says she's in the messy middle. We all are right now. We all are, Julia. Trust me. I definitely feel like I am. But it's sometimes the most, well, not sometimes, probably always the most interesting part. So I want you to review your goals thoroughly this week. Okay. And then I want you to find your why again. I want you to remind yourself of what there is to win, not lose. Okay. So let's not focus on how hard it's going to be. I tell you, there's some things that I've achieved in my life that if I'd have known was going to require that much work, I never would have started them. Who resonates with that? Are there some things that you've achieved in your life that if you'd have known how hard it was going to be and how much work you were going to have to put in when you set out, you never would have started? Rach is saying, yeah, I know what you're talking about as well. So Rachel's got a film coming out later this year. And I bet that's something that you relate to with this. Fanny says yes in capital letters. There's lots of things for me. Act on This, man. actonthis.tv, the website that I run. If I knew just how much work and money and time was going to go into that over the last 7 years, wow, I don't know if I'd have set off on that. Maybe I'd have tried to do something slightly different. Ray said if she knew before about the film, she never would have done it. I think it's just a lot of people will have experienced that. And yet, when you have done it, you're so glad that you did it. So you need to find your why again and remind yourself of what there is to win, okay? Not how much work there is to do or what could go wrong, what could go right and what you could gain by things going right. Then I want you to figure your next actionable step to get yourself back on track. Now, this can be something very, very small. It doesn't have to be a big, massive thing. It could literally be, if you're in the middle of writing a script, for instance, or a novel or a song or whatever you're doing, or an audition piece or something like that, a film, and you're like, you know what, I'm so stuck right now, I don't really know how to start again. All I want you to do is literally, the next actionable step is to go back onto your computer and just open that document. That's literally it, okay? Or if you haven't started, create a new document and create a folder for maybe chapter 1 and put a blank document in it. A folder for chapter 2, put a blank document in it. A folder for chapter 3, put a blank document in it. We're just looking to gain some initial momentum again. And that momentum is like a snowball. It starts very small and rolling very slowly at the top of the hill, and gradually it picks up more and more, gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and faster and faster and faster. But we just need that initial momentum to get you back on track. So your next actionable step can be tiny, but you must take it immediately. And I mean, I want people, if you're watching this on live now, right now, on Periscope or on Facebook, I want you to take an actionable step right now tonight. Or for you guys in America, it's the afternoon, like by the end of the day. You must implement. So this thing that I talk about a lot about macro patience and micro speed, this is what I'm talking about. We've got to be patient on the macro level for achieving our goal, but on a micro level, we've got to implement and execute like now, as fast as we can. That's the thing that's going to get you some momentum. If you wait till tomorrow morning till you wake up, you might not want to do it again because you've lost the motivation you're currently feeling because I'm externally motivating you. Okay, so I want you to do an actionable step tonight, and even if it is just sending an email, I'm going to be doing. She's going towards the bacon and the grill. Brilliant, Steve. If making a bacon butty is your goal, I think you're going to smash it tonight, mate. Well done. But yeah, do something now whilst, this is in your mind, okay? And then what you want you to do, very lovely task I'm setting you, go for coffee with someone who can help you get perspective. Okay, and that shouldn't be, unless it's Steve. Steve said his mum's brutal in terms of not letting him get away with excuses. That's fine. But anybody else, don't go with your mum or your best friend unless they are like that. Find an accountability partner if you need to. Get in the Acts on This Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/Acts on This TV. Say, guys, listen, I'm looking for someone to hold me accountable for my goals this year. Anyone else looking for that? And it doesn't matter where they are in the world. You guys can hook up on Skype once every 2 weeks. And I could, if I was someone's accountability partner, I'd be going, right, Dave, you told me 2 weeks ago you were going to email this, write this, and do that. What have you done? And they'll be like, oh, well, I've done this, but I haven't done that. And it's my job then to actually go, well, you know what? That isn't acceptable. I'm not going to mollycoddle you and say you that's all right. You're showing losing DNA here, Dave. And I know you're a winner. We've got to get this shit back on track, all right? I find no one is brutal enough with me. I'll be brutal with you, Fanny, or everyone on the Facebook group. I don't mean that violently. I'll smash your face in. No, we can give you some shit if that's what you need. Rachel says, yeah, he will. Rachel knows I can be brutal sometimes. Or a Google Hangout says, Mel, yeah, definitely. Google Hangouts are great. Tony Blake Photo, he's live on Periscope now. He's moved off Facebook. Tony, it's great to see you. We need to go for a brew, Tony, very soon. Me, you, and Chris Stone get our power chats in again, taking over. Patrick, what was your comment then, mate? I missed it. It just faded. Say it again. I've not read your comment out tonight. I want to include you. Write it again, mate. I don't need shit necessarily, Ross. No, I don't mean like negative. I mean, I'm going to give you actionable steps, hold you accountable. Got workshop Wednesday and just seen scripts coming through an email now, so that's tonight sorted. Brilliant, Julia. Well, that's exactly it. You know what? You might have a bit of brain frazzle right now. You're like, I'm not in the right frame of mind to actually go through the scripts, but what I can do is print them off. What I can do without even looking at them in a brain-dead simple way is highlight my lines. That's the next actionable step. You don't have to go, I'm going to learn all my lines tonight and I'm going to action them and find all the meaning within each beat. No. We don't need to do that at 10 o'clock at night. But we do need to look at what we can do, and that might be just printing them off. And that's you, momentum. You wake up tomorrow morning, you can reach out and you've got that script in your hand. Really important. So yeah, they're your tasks for this week. I'm going to be doing these as well. Review your goals. Find your why again. Remind yourself. Patrick says, sometimes you have to be accountable to yourself. I am, but get your point about using someone else. You must be accountable to yourself as well. And that's about having standards, guys. One way to have a better life is to raise your standards. It's the fastest way you will achieve more, by raising your standards, what you demand of yourself and also other people. Okay? So if you demand that you will be up at 6:30 in the morning and in the gym by 7, that's a standard you need to hold yourself accountable for. If your standards are lower than that, it's like, well, I've just got to get up at 11 and just eat cake. Then you're not going to have as much success as the person who's up at 6:30 and has already worked out by 8 o'clock. Strenuous exercise before 8 o'clock has scientifically been proven to really benefit people's state of being. Literally on like a happiness advantage. Strenuous exercise before 8 o'clock, particularly if you're a male, because you wake up with way more testosterone in your body than you do at any other point in the day. So go and exercise before 8 o'clock, guys. You'll see it have a huge effect on your state of being. So that's raising your standards, yeah. And then figure out your next actionable step and go for a brew with someone so you can soundboard it off them. I'm very high maintenance, only the best 2-2s for me. Steve, you been drinking tonight or what? Don't know what he's had. So that's that's your own work basically. I'm going to check in with you on Wednesday night to see if you've done it. Gym membership renewed, says Stefan. Brilliant. Keep that momentum going though, Stefan. A lot of people feel they're doing something by joining the gym and buying their gym gear, and that's enough for them to the point where they never follow through on it or actually go and do a workout. But that's a really great start. Renew it, but use it. Don't let that gym membership just sit in your wallet doing nothing. Get your card out and go and get some exercise done. So I want to end on this, and this is a quote by Zig Ziglar. one of the greatest people within personal development, says, look, what you get by achieving your goals is not as important as what you become by achieving your goals. And I want people to focus on this week, okay? Through this messy middle and through tackling these obstacles and getting back on track, you are becoming such a better person. You're becoming stronger. You're figuring things out. You may have made mistakes that you'll never make again because you've learned from them. You know, there's no such thing as failure. If you are learning, you are succeeding, all right? So important. So who you are becoming on the way to achieving your goals, ultimately is just so much more important than what you are gaining from that. You know, you become a better person. It's worth all the money in the world. You know, you become, you know, just a better human being, a better version of yourself, you know, a more developed, rounded individual. It's worth more often than the actual thing that you get, the material thing that you get at the end of your goal. You know, you becoming a better person is ultimately what we all should be striving for. So yeah, Zig's got some good advice there. What you get by achieving your goals is not as important as what you become by achieving your goals. So that's the Periscope for tonight. Going to be back for some book club action on Wednesday. We're looking at The Slight Edge. I'm going to jump back on camera now. 9 p.m. you'll see on your screen there. For those who are just joining for the first time or listening on the audio experience for the first time, Monday nights 9 p.m. UK time is Motivation and Mind Hacks, what you've listened to just now. Wednesdays 9 p.m. UK time, book club. We're looking at a great book by Jeff Olson called The Slight Edge. And if you want to join on Wednesday night at 9 p.m, follow me on Periscope, which you're probably doing right now. Join the Facebook group, like the Facebook page. It's all basically just search for Act on This TV on everything. Facebook, Periscope, Twitter, Instagram, at Act on This TV, and you will track me down, okay? But if you want to join the Periscopes live, get the app for your phone or join via my Twitter stream, or watch the Facebook live stream on the Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Act on This TV. The page is different to the Facebook group. I need to reiterate that. We have a Facebook group for Act on This, which is private, and that's found at facebook.com/groups/Act on This TV. And then we have a Facebook page, which is just facebook.com/Act on This TV. No groups section in that. And that's where these live broadcasts go out on. They go out on the page, not the group. So I'm going to jump back on camera for a sec. And we'll have a little chat. Whew. Hopefully that was all right. I don't know if the video feeds. Mine's still a little bit jumpy on my Periscope, but hopefully it's not too bad for you guys, wherever you're viewing from. At least you can hear me tonight. It's fine. Like I say, I'm getting the recording on here, so it should be flawless. But yeah, anyone got any questions on that? Anybody want to ask anything? Anyone want any perspective off us lot whilst we're here? Good one as always, says Jen. Appreciate that, Jen. Yeah, let me jump back into Facebook, see what's going on there. See if anybody's got any questions. If you want to ask anything at all, ask it now. Thank you, says George. Someone just shared the video on Facebook as well. Thanks for that. I don't think we've got any more comments on Facebook. I think everybody's watching on Periscope tonight. But yeah, ultimately, let's just get ourselves back on track. We've got 6 months of the year left to do this, all right? And I want everybody to achieve something great in 2017, okay? So 6 months is a shit ton of time, literally, for you to probably achieve anything you want this year. But you've got to take action. In fact, let me show you something from Bulletproof Actor. Hopefully I've still got this set up. This is it, guys. If you can understand this, you will win at life. There's something called the success cycle. I shouldn't be showing you this because it's something for another night, but I'll give you a little glimpse of this. It basically works in 4 stages. You'll see there it starts with your potential. The belief in your potential to achieve a goal is critical. It's the first building block of you ever achieving anything in your life. And that dictates the action you're going to take in order to get to where you want to go. If you believe you can do it, you take massive action. If you take massive action, then you get great results. If you get great results, it feeds into your belief system. Dawn says she's got this in her desk. This is a big part of Bulletproof Actor, the program. And if you, if you believe you can do it, and you say, "See, I told you I could do it," you feel you've got greater potential next time. Unfortunately, the losers in the world feel they've got no potential. They take no action. They get shit results, and therefore they say, "I told you I couldn't do it." And that goes on and on. It's like self-perpetuating. So this is how the rich get richer. It's also how the poor get poorer, guys. It's very, very important to understand that. So the first part of you actually achieving anything is to believe you can do it to begin with. Stefan says law of attraction, very similar. Well, the law of attraction works in a slightly different way, Stefan. It works through tapping into an area of your brain known as your reticular activating system, and that's like a filter ultimately on your in your brain, which allows you to focus on things. And it probably is right now. It's working because you might have distractions around you in your house or wherever you're watching this, and it allows you to filter out those distractions and focus on me and focus on what I'm saying and interpret it and understand it without really even thinking about it. Words are coming out of my mouth that are just a noise. I'm not even thinking about what I'm going to say properly. You're hearing them almost instantaneously and your brain is processing them. So you are focusing on me, thus you are understanding what I am saying. What your reticular activating system does is filter out all that other stuff. So the law of attraction, it really isn't magic, unfortunately, but it works by tapping into your RAS. And if you focus on, say, for instance, you're thinking of buying a new car or whatever, and you're like, right, I want to get a BMW or a Mini, I'm thinking of this. There's no coincidence when you go out the next day, you see loads of Minis on the road or loads of BMWs. If you're, women, if you're buying a dress, or you're thinking of buying a dress, suddenly you'll see other people in that dress. I used to do it with T-shirts on a Friday night. I'd go out in a bar and I'd have this T-shirt on that I'd just bought that day. And I'd see the one other guy in that bar out of 500 people in that bar who had my T-shirt on. I didn't manifest him. I didn't go, oh, send me this T-shirt. I had it in my head. I was focusing on it because it was, I was very much kind of aware, of that. Women, when you want a baby, you probably see babies everywhere. You're not manifesting babies. But ultimately what it is you see more opportunity to get what you are focusing on. So if you are focusing on the good in the world and you're grateful for what you have, you're going to see way more opportunity to get the things that you want. My negative wolf is dead. I've stopped feeding it. So yeah, in Bulletproof Actor, we talk about your positive and your negative wolf. There's a battle that goes on inside everybody's head. Between your positive and your negative wolf. And the one that wins is the one that you choose to feed. And people are just choosing so often to feed the negative one by focusing on the negative. Therefore, the negative wolf gets fatter and they just see more negativity around them. Whereas if you choose to focus and feed the positive one, that's what you're going to see. And that's very much how the law of attraction works. What you focus on, you see more of ultimately. Thus, you get more of that. Julia says, thanks for putting it into perspective tonight about the messy middle. Appreciate it. Thanks, Julia. Michael Hyatt's a big guy to thank for this as well. He's the guy who teaches me about this. So check out michaelhyatt.com, people, if you want to learn more. He puts great articles up every week. Really good guy. So that's it kind of for tonight. Bulletproof Actor, guys, if you want to get involved with it, it's going to be launching on the 29th of June. This is bulletproofactor.com right now. If you go over to the site bulletproofactor.com, you can read about the course. It tells you everything about it. It's basically the most in-depth mindset coaching program for actors on the planet. Probably one of the most in-depth mindset coaching programs for anyone on the planet, but this is specifically geared for actors, obviously, Bulletproof Actor. You see there the video units. There's 33 HD videos, 4 hours long. You do a unit a week. There's 5 units. You get 5 high-quality PDF workbooks. You get MP3 downloads of everything. You get access to a private Facebook group, which is off limits to the other Facebook group. It's not part of Acts on This. It's a completely separate Facebook group. If you go VIP, you get weekly live coaching calls with me. You get lifetime access to the course and free updates. If I do updates on the course, you get access to those as well. Shows you the units you go through, ultimately how you break down all of your limiting beliefs, build a limitless belief system that you really will live by for the rest of your life. If you're only, you're watching this and you're only 30 now, this could impact you literally for the next 70 years of your life. Even if you're 70, you've got 30 years left on the planet if you play your cards right. It's going to have big impacts on you. There's the live coaching calls you see there. We all jump on the conference call and everyone can see each other. Everyone can speak to each other. We hear some really personal stories from people. It's a very safe environment to say stuff. And we coach people through really empowering people from some of the negative stuff that they have only ever seen as negative in their lives. A little bit about me, super cheesy photograph. There's Rachel, she's on the scope tonight, but there's a little testimonial Rachel did for me. There's Michael Jackson, says actors need to develop, it's not the king of pop, the casting director, actors need to develop this kind of confidence. I see actors sabotaging their own auditions all the time. Ross's work has had a big impact, enabling actors to get themselves out of this vicious cycle. I highly recommend it. Thank you, Michael Jackson. Little stuff there about is the program for you or not. Told you who it's for, who it's not for. 30-day money-back guarantee. Basically, not a single person has ever asked for a refund on it. But I'm so upfront about giving value. It's like, guys, if you go through this and I do not transform your life, you deserve every penny back because I promise you it will, effectively. So if you are interested, you can join the early bird list. Click this button at the bottom there, or the one on the photo at the top, which is here. You click on that, it brings up this little pop-up. It says get on the early bird list. Just whack your first name in there and your email, and I'm going to give you a 24-hour period before it goes live to the public where you'll be able to register, because there's only 50 places for the VIP. I could ask this now. If there's anybody who's like already on the waiting list and like, I just definitely want to do this, do let me know. Drop me an email at ross@bulletproofactor.com, and before we even do the pre-sell, I'll reserve a VIP place for you if you want, because I just know there's people who have potentially been on the list since last December, and I know you're going to be really pissed off if you didn't get on it this time. VIP is a must, says Dawn. Dawn's a VIP. Fanny says, yes, I want. Well, Fanny, I will save you. I'll reserve your place so that you definitely get one. Particularly you guys who join me on these Periscopes, because I want to kind of reward your loyalty for that as well. I'll show you inside the program now, so you can see how it all kind of it's laid out. This is the library. So this is the main program here, and they're the coaching calls underneath. But if I go into the main program, I'll show you how it's all laid out. It's proper cutting edge, this, guys. So you would go in as a start here video, like a tutorial of how you use the course. You would dive into here and you would download your workbooks. So there's 5 workbooks. You can see them all there that you just download on the right-hand side there. And then you move on to the next category. So you click that button there, next category, we move through. And this is literally you starting the video lessons. Unit 1, a declaration to become bulletproof. It's literally where it all begins. And you can see the videos from Unit 1 here on the right-hand side that you go through. There's the audio down there if you just want to listen to the audio. And you'll see, here's all the comments from people who have been through the course already, all getting ready to embark. There's over 100 people who've been through it. I answer every single comment on there. It's super interactive. And yeah, we create an awesome community around this training where people literally, by the end of it, do become bulletproof. Not actual to real bullets out of guns, but your mentality, your psychology, your mindset is bulletproof. I'll show you what the... quality layout, says Stefan. I'll show you what the videos look like as well. It's probably going to be a little bit jerky on your screen. It's not true streaming on here, but it's all like proper, really seriously good video production and stuff. There's me at my desk in my Bulletproof Actor t-shirt. But it's super high quality. Like literally, I put like a year of my life into creating this. Super proud of it. And I would love to take you guys through it. If you are interested, yeah, bulletproofactor.com. Get on the early bird list. If you just want to guarantee a place, drop me an email, ross@bulletproofactor.com. But what I'm also going to be doing over the next from the 23rd, I think, onwards of June, I'm going to be putting out a free 3-part training program, which you can access to kind of give you, it's about an hour and a half worth of training, a bit of a primer to what's in the full program. I wonder if I can show you a little bit of how that training works. So I wonder if I can preview this. Let's have a look. So you've seen all the back end of how all this works on a program. It's so much goes into this. But you see I'm doing this. So this is basically a primer for what's going on. You'll see 4 videos, well, 3 training videos I'm going to launch in a couple of weeks' time. That'll give you an hour and a half worth of training anyway. The first one gets released on the 21st of June, I think. Second one on the 23rd. Third one on the 27th, and then the actual full program opens on the 29th. So you can watch some quality training before that, or just do this as well. You know, if you just like, actually, you know what, it's not the right time for me to really commit to a program. I mean, it will change your life if you do, but you just want to do some more basic training. You can watch these videos. These are again super high quality. There's like about 30 minutes each. There's 3 of them, and you can you can go through this training. This, if you just implement what you learn in this will change your life. It's not a very flattering still of myself, is it? There, slightly, slightly crazy. I shall turn that off. That just looks ridiculous. But yeah, would absolutely love to work with you guys. So yeah, let me know if that's of interest to you. It's 5 of the best weeks of my year, without a doubt. I absolutely love it. It's probably the only time I'm going to launch it this year as well. I normally do 2 intakes, but I think I'm going to do something different towards the end of this year, a slightly different course. So this will probably be the only time in 2017 you'll be able to get on the program. 2018 will be the next time it gets released. So that's it. I'm going to go at Facebook for the very last time. We've been on a while tonight, haven't we? Gone 10 o'clock. Gonna make sure there's nothing left in here. How much is it? Can't find a price anywhere. Yeah, so the pricing structure is not out yet, Emmeline. So basically, there's two versions of it. There's a standard edition, a independent study, where you just go through it at your own pace, in your own time. You get lifetime access to it. You get access to all the videos, all the audio, but it doesn't include the live coaching, and that's £197. The live coaching, it's a bit of a bargain because it's only 80 quid dearer. It's 279 quid for the whole 5 weeks, and you get access to the independent study forever. And you get the five live calls, 5 live training once a week for 5 weeks. Plus, at the moment, you get 3 bonuses as well. You get bonus webinars with a high-performance nutritionist and physicality specialist, a guy called Lewis Diaz. We do a webinar with him. We do a webinar with Chris Stone, all about show reels for actors. That's a bonus that you get if you go VIP. And then you also get access to a podcast I did with a guy called Mark Dharma, who was the guy really who got me into positive psychology and changed my life. You get an hour podcast with him, all on goal setting. And something called the GROW model, which is for goal setting. You get that, and that's $279. Or if you want to spread the cost over 3 months, you can do. It's $299, so it's 20 quid dearer, but you pay £99 up front, £99 30 days later, £99 30 days after that. So you can spread the cost there, because I get it. People don't have necessarily 279 quid to just drop all at once. But most people can get £99 together to begin the training, and you don't have to worry about it for 30 days after that. Don't get into debt, though. Don't want people doing that, okay? But it is a premium training. That's why it's got a premium price tag. It's only for the most dedicated actors. I don't want people to do it if they're not going to dedicate themselves to it, because you really do become part of a family and a tribe, and everybody holds everybody accountable. It's very close-knit. You'll make friends for life, and then you get access to the Facebook group forever. So there's people in there now working with each other in the Facebook group, and they will do for the foreseeable. You know, it's they did the course back in January. No, it wasn't even January. It's like last December when we finished. So it's like an ongoing thing once you've completed it as well. So yeah, hope that answers some questions. Anything else, leave it in the Facebook group. More than happy to answer that. I'm just going to bring up my Facebook stuff so I can actually end the broadcast on Facebook. I always struggle with this because I know how to end it on Periscope, but on Facebook I'm always like, how do I actually quit the broadcast? Yeah, appreciate everybody being here. I hope it's been useful for you. If you listen on the audio experience, massively appreciate you getting all the way to the end. And I'll be back on Wednesday night for the book club. Looking at the Slight Edge. Get the book before Wednesday if you want to read along. It's a bloody brilliant book, all about how seemingly not meaningless, but seemingly insignificant decisions in your life aren't insignificant at all. They actually compound into having big impacts in your life in the grand scheme of things. So the smallest things that you make a decision on every day actually are very, very important. So we look at the decisions you are making and how you can make better quality decisions that's going to compound and ultimately lead you to way more success. It's not always the big decisions that lead to the big impact. It's very often the small things that add up over months that really lead to the big impact. Cheers, Julia. Cheers, Lucinda. Appreciate it. Thanks, Bobby. Thanks for being here. Thanks for everybody for sticking on. I can see so many people who have stayed the whole way. Really do appreciate you guys for being here. So I'm going to call it a day. But I'll be back Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Anything I can do for you, let me know. Until then, have an amazing week. Review your goals tomorrow, and let's get some action. Let's take some action and start smashing these out of the park. All right. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.